Hello, zoology students. So sorry I couldn't be there today, but I wanted to walk you through the notes that we're going to take today and show you what you're going to be doing with the sub. So go ahead and take out this packet. Hopefully the sub gave it to you already. Please write your name on it. And you'll notice there are some blanks. So I'm going to go ahead and go through the notes with you here so that you'll know exactly what to write down. All right, so starting right here at the beginning, when we talk about animals, we've talked about some basic things about animals, like we've talked about symbiosis and we've talked about just some basic things about habitat and niche and things like that. When we talk about groups of animals, main groups of animals are called phyla. You'll also see the word phylum, P-H-Y-L-U-M. This word right here is phyla. It's just plural for phylum. But there are actually over 30 phyla of animals, over 30 groups of animals that exist. More than 90% of them can be found within 9 major groups, 9 major phyla. So that's what we're going to talk about today, the 9 major phyla that exist, that 90% of the animals exist in. So let's start with this group. This is the first group we're going to talk about, and probably when you look at it, if you actually saw it like in an ocean, you wouldn't even realize it was an animal. But this is the phylum named Porifera. And as you can imagine, they have pores. So the name literally means pore bearing. And the best example here is sponges. We'll talk more about sponges in detail, but sponges are classified as a group of animals. The second group is cnidarians. Oh, by the way, as you're doing this, you can just kind of fill in a little bit about the name meaning and then some examples as we go through this. The second group is the cnidarians. That C is silent, and then it's pronounced with a long I, so it's cnidaria or cnidarians. It literally means stinging, and the best examples of this group are the jellyfish and sea anemones. There are a couple other members in this group too. We'll talk about them soon, but this is the stinging cell group of animals, the cnidarians. Now, if we talk about some worms, the next group name is called Platyhelminthes. This literally means flatworms. So planarians are in this group, and then the tapeworm that can actually be inside your digestive system is in this group, and then another group of worms that are called flukes. The second group of worms are called the nematodes or Nematode. These are thread-like worms, which are actually round. So whereas the other ones had more of a flattened body, these have more of a round shaped body when you look at them like head on, like you can see on the picture here. Pinworms are in this group. Another group called Ascaris is in this group, and they're a little different than the group we talked about before. The last group of worms, the phylum name Annelida, are the worms that you're probably the most familiar with. This literally means little ring, segmented worms. Earthworms are in this group, and leeches are in this group as well. Moving on to the next group is called Mollusca. That name literally means soft-bodied creatures. So any creature that's going to be in this group is very soft-bodied. So squid are in this group. We're actually going to dissect a squid later on in this class. Octopus are in this group as well. And then some soft-bodied creatures that actually have shells, like clams and snails, are in this group as well. Arthropods or arthropoda, that name literally means jointed legs. These are the insects. So insects are in this group. Spiders are in this group also. Spiders technically are not insects. They are arachnids because they have different number of legs. They have 8 legs. Crustaceans are in this group too. So you can see right here there is a picture of a crayfish, or maybe it's a lobster. I'm not really sure. And then this right here is a millipede. Millipedes and centipedes are in this group as well. The next group is Echinodermata. That's how you say that word. That name literally means spiny skin. This includes starfish, which a better word for starfish is actually sea stars because they're not true fish. They are a different kind of creature. Sea urchins are in this group as well. Sea cucumbers are in this group along with sea stars and sea urchins. And then the final group is the chordata. That CH is pronounced like a K sound, chordata. These are the animals that have a backbone. Fish are in this group, amphibians are in this group, reptiles, birds, and us, mammals. There's a little challenge on your paper on the next page. and it is to come up with the group names for some of these creatures. Some of them have very inventive group names, so you can see the choices here. Maybe you can take a little guess about each one, try to guess what they are. I have an answer key on Schoology, so go ahead and like take a guess for each one and just circle which one you think it is, and then you can check the answer key on Schoology. So if you want to try that real quick, you can pause the video and try it. Otherwise, you can try it after the video is over. The last thing I want to talk about today is embryonic development. And what that actually means is how animals develop from a baby stage. And I see that I forgot the very first line here. So the very first line says the stages of embryonic development are similar in many animals. So many animals have a very similar way that they develop. So that line there should say similar. So you can go ahead and write that in. Development, the stages of embryonic development are similar in many animals. So the biggest thing for most animals is that they develop from a sperm and an egg, much like how humans are, developed. There are a few exceptions, though. So most animals will have at least some form of a sperm and an egg, but there might be a few animals that do kind of some weird things. So one example is in sponges. Sponges can actually bud off. They can actually kind of grow a new creature right off of them. So like imagine that you just grow like a new little human right off your shoulder. That would be budding. Fragmentation in sea stars. So have you ever heard about how like you can chop a sea star in half and it will regrow, or like an earthworm too, same thing. That's called fragmentation. And then there's this really interesting situation called parthenogenesis. It happens in bees and wasps, and it happens in some other creatures also, which technically means virgin birth. So there's not a sperm and an egg that is, that joins together to create this new creature. It actually is a different way of reproducing. So the next thing that I would like you guys to do for what you're doing with the sub today is there is a video that is about parthenogenesis. And it literally is when there's no sperm and egg needed. It's a virgin birth. So what I'd like you to do right now is to use the QR code. Hopefully the QR code shows up. If it doesn't, just type in the YouTube video. I think I also have the YouTube video on Schoology. And see if you can answer those 4 questions. It's a short video. It's only like 5 minutes. Once you're done with that, so you can do the video first, then I would like you to do page 3, which is to pick 2 of these, what I call weird animals, and do a little bit of research on them. So pick 2 that sound interesting to you. The choices are water bears, blobfish, narwhal, star-nosed mole, sea pen, and yeti crab. These are all kind of interesting, weird animals. Pick 2, do a little bit of research on it. If and when you get finished with that, the last 2 pages are some coloring of the different animal phyla. So hopefully you can get everything done today. If you have any questions, go ahead and ask your sub. You're always welcome to email me. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and email, and then I will see you guys next week. Have a good class.